Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a well-requested video. Over the years, I've been asked for a ton of gym tours and things like that. So this is going to be my version of it. What you see is what you get. There's not much to it. This is my apartment. I'm not showing more for safety purposes. I'm gonna kind of tell the story behind how it came to be and things like that. So setting the scene a little bit, I have a background in gymnastics. I'm not huge on using a whole lot of machines in the gym and things like that. I prefer free weights, bands, things like that. And so finding a gym that had hours that I wanted. So I like to work out, or I used to like to work out super early in the morning. Now it's more of an average time, but previously when I was trying to set up this home gym, it was definitely more of a very early in the morning, like before most people are up, I would be working out. Finding a gym that has those hours, finding a gym that has the space and equipment that I wanted was very difficult. When I traveled for my clinical rotations when I was in physical therapy school, I kind of tried a couple gyms, tried really fancy ones, tried some 24-hour ones. Some were good, some kind of were just meh. But it always was a drive there, an inconvenience in some way or form. And then I would have to pack everything for the day before work and things like that. So essentially, when I graduated PT school and was going to move for my first job, I was like, okay, what gym am I going to find? I was moving to an area that I was not familiar with. I was moving for work specifically, so it was a completely new area and all of that, and I didn't really know anyone. So just finding a gym was interesting, let's say. As with any big city, Atlanta traffic sucks, and I did not want to deal with it. So as a broke college student at the time, after graduating grad school, I was like, also, how can I get the cheapest thing, because the student loans are real. Anyways, so I moved back home after PT school for about I think it was 3 months. It was 1 to 3, somewhere in that range. It's kind of fuzzy. But I was living with my parents at the time while studying for boards, and then I think it was the day after I took boards, I was moving into my new apartment to start my job that following Monday or something like that. I don't remember exact days, but I had a couple days to get settled in, get going, and then start. So it was a week before boards, maybe a week and a half or so. And I had kind of decided I was going to try to build my own home gym, because it was either spend money, have to drive somewhere, have to pack everything up, have to compromise on either equipment or something, time of day, whatever. And I was just like, you know what? I might be able to we'll try it. So I actually budgeted it out. I took a screenshot of the budget that I wrote. So I wrote myself a budget. I was training ninja at the time. So I was going to a ninja gym while studying for a couple months. And I was like, if I'm gonna build a squat rack, I might as well make it a salmon ladder. And that was my thought process. So I had budgeted $300 for the squat rack and salmon ladder, platform $200, a pull-up bar was about $100, and then rings about $30, 2 plyo boxes about $80, dumbbells about $200, bumper plates $250, a barbell $270, and an 8-inch mat for underneath the salmon ladder. I forgot to include it in the budget. So I later added $150 on that. But essentially my rationale behind that, the total was going to be about $1,400, which is about $50 per month over 2 years. So average gym membership, $50-ish, somewhere around there, somewhere a little less, somewhere a little more, but about $50 over 2 years. And I've now had this was in 2018, and it is now 2022 as I'm filming this, and the home gym is still going strong. So good investment on my part. I'll kind of go down what I prioritized, why I prioritized it, and what I've gotten over the years as well. So the squat rack and salmon ladder, I ended up using, so the darker wood is actually leftover from my parents' kitchen remodel. So I didn't have to spend all of the money on wood, and back then, pre-pandemic, wood was a lot cheaper. And I did have to get screws and things like that, because but I didn't have to pay for any tools or anything like that. Full disclosure, my dad is an engineer. He helped me with the designs, and he did say it was not possible, and I convinced him to help me out, and somehow we made it happen within 1 week of me taking boards. So essentially, I had prepped enough studying-wise to, like, the last week was catch-up week anyways, and I was like, I'm so over-studying. And so I kind of researched the rung distance, or rung angles, all of that, standard distances for ninja training. And that's kind of how I came up with the design. I called my apartment complex that I was moving to and asked how high the ceilings were, because I purposely chose an apartment with higher ceilings. And then I was told 12 feet. This will come into play later on because it was not actually 12 feet. So I built the salmon ladder so it could fit in that apartment specifically. And yeah, so we built it. We got everything like from Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, hardware store, for the squat rack and salmon ladder. And then the platform, so we used like plywood, and I think we used like stall mats from like Tractor Supply Company or something like that. So like not actual gym mats, because those are more expensive. This is all very budget friendly. So total for the squat rack and salmon ladder, I spent $212, so that gave me a leftover $78 in my budget. The platform, I spent $151, which left me $49 in the budget. And then we built plyo boxes as well. So I just Googled DIY plyo box, one of the first ones that popped up, and that's what we went with. So I have both of them over there, and I actually set it up because I was living by myself at the time, and if I did want to squat heavy or something like that, I wanted some safety bars. So I did get some safety bars and a setup. So if you've ever seen like the metal circles on my squat rack, kind of at the bottom of the rung there. So this is also based on my height too. So I thought like squat height, what would I want it? Deadlift height, or like holding it down here, what height would I want it? And I kind of built it off of that. But I also do have the safeties there that go with the plyo boxes to create more of a safety setup. So we have 2 plyo boxes there. We ended up, my budgeted $80, I spent $72 on all that plywood, and had a leftover of $8 there. We did make some adjustments with like cutouts and things like that just for easier transport, but we just used a standard blog there. And then, so I have just general weights there. I wanted some dumbbells for some lighter exercises. I wanted a pull-up bar and rings, and that's pretty much what I prioritized, barbell and plates, obviously. So the barbell was like a huge splurge for me. I was like, I'll just go ahead and get Rogue, lifetime warranty, and call it a day. Bumper plates were also a bit of a splurge. I looked for like used ones and things like that, but it was a little hard to find there. So the barbell, I ended up spending my budget, so that was the $270. The bumper plates, I budgeted $250, and I spent a total of $289, including clips, small plates, and the bumper plates themselves. And then the dumbbells, I budgeted $200, but I found some adjustable ones off of Craigslist for $40 from some other college student. So that was a great deal there. And then rings and the pull-up bar, it was just like the cheapest one that I found. I got from Titan Fitness. Would I recommend them going forward? Having a little bit more money now, I would probably go with Rogue. They're better quality. The rings actually are broken, so it's really hard to adjust because the clip for moving them up and down broke, I think, the first time my husband tried to use them. So that was pretty much what I prioritized in my home gym. I did make DIY handstand canes previously when I was in PT school, so I did already have those, and I think, so I also had some bands. I think I got those for free as well. So I already had bands. The balance beam, actually, this is kind of a funny story. So growing up, my sister and I used to tumble in the living room. So like our living room and dining room were one big room in the house that I grew up in. And so we would like run in the dining room and then tumble into the living room towards the TV. I don't know why or how my parents let us do this, but my dream growing up was to have a gym in the backyard, like a full-fledged gymnastics gym. And my parents always said no, obviously, when I asked for it for Christmas, pretty much every single year. And so when I moved out, I made my home gym and made it happen. But the beams over here, my mom actually built those when we were growing up. to practice on at home. So I had those, and the gym has kind of developed over the years. So we got the pull-up bar over here. We have the crash mat that I got off of Amazon originally. So the crash mat that I did not budget for, I budgeted afterwards $150, and then I spent $89 on literally the cheapest or twin mattress that I could find on Amazon. And then I have the pillow topper that I used in undergrad on top of it for a little extra padding, and that actually did make a huge difference when falling from like up high. And then eventually I did end up getting like a Tumble Track legit practice mat, so that's been very nice. So it's a little bit safer and things like that. But I was gonna go back to the story about setting up the salmon ladder squat rack in my first apartment. So they told me it was 12-foot ceilings. It was not. So when we moved in, we had it all set up, or we had set it up at my parents' house outside, and then we broke it down. We moved when it was time to move after I took my boards, came down, we're putting it up, and we were like, it's not going up. So we actually had to cut a little bit off the top of it, put it back together, and then get it up. So in that apartment I had like a windowsill, so the support system was a little bit different than what I have here. But all in all, it's the same rack. So it's been broken down and put together 3 times now. So, and it'll probably be another one if we eventually move to this house. It has been a very slow build process, but this is coming to the house as well. So that's pretty much my gym setup. I have gotten some other things over the years. So I do work with base blocks. So I have some parallel bars from them. I have the base bench, I have the base bar, I have the big bar, I have the strong blocks, I have all of that stuff. My husband had some kettlebells, so we have some of those. And then like foam rolls, lacrosse balls, things like that have accumulated over the years. I got some grip stuff as gifts. So little things have come along the way, but you really don't need much to start, essentially. You just kind of got to be creative and see what your priorities are with what you want in a home gym and go with that. So think about equipment that can be used more than one way. So like dumbbells can be used a bazillion different ways. Bands can be used a bazillion different ways. And think about the movements that you like doing and the style of training that you like doing. Start there, find a small list of things that you need, and then you can always get used stuff, you can always DIY stuff, just be creative with it, and you really don't need much to start, essentially. But this is pretty much it. My apartment is pretty small. I've been told it looks a lot bigger online than it actually is, so you work with what you got and just go for it. But if you do have any questions at all about anything, whether it's home gym stuff, whether it's product recommendations, things like that, drop them below and I will do my best to answer them. And if you do want to see more of this type of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.